Have you ever noticed how right before something great happens in your life, all hell seems to break loose? It's like everything that could go wrong starts going wrong all at once. People start turning on you. Doubts creep into your mind. Doors start slamming in your face. You feel pressure coming from every side, and it almost seems personal. But let me tell you something powerful. When you begin to feel that resistance, when you feel that unexpected pressure, that's not a sign that you're losing. That's a sign that you're close. That's a sign that the enemy senses what God is about to do in your life. See, the enemy doesn't waste time on people who aren't a threat. If you were going to stay where you are, if nothing big was coming, the pressure wouldn't be there. But the fact that you're going through so much resistance is proof that something is on the way. When God is getting ready to bless you, the enemy tries to discourage you, distract you, and derail you before you ever reach it. Why? Because he knows he can't stop the blessing, but he can try to stop you from walking into it. So what does he do? He applies pressure. He turns up the heat. He sends confusion into your relationships. He stirs up your past. He whispers lies to make you doubt your value, your purpose, your worth. But if you know what to look for, you won't let that pressure crush you. You'll let it confirm what you already know deep down, that God is up to something. That a shift is happening in the spiritual realm before it ever manifests in the natural. Think about a seed planted in the ground. Before it grows, before anyone sees the breakthrough, it goes through pressure in the dark. The soil pushes against it. The environment is uncomfortable. Everything around is trying to keep it buried. But what that seed doesn't know is that the pressure is actually the proof of the process. Without it, it wouldn't break through. Without it, it wouldn't grow. And the same goes for you. The resistance isn't to stop you, it's to reveal you, to stretch you, to prepare you. So if you're feeling that pressure today, don't you dare give up. Don't you dare think it's the end. It's just the beginning. The enemy is reacting to what God is already doing. You just haven't seen it fully unfold yet, but it's coming. And that's why the pressure is so intense, because you're closer than you think. Sometimes the pain is loudest right before the promise shows up. And let me tell you this, you weren't built to break. You weren't created to fold under pressure. You were designed to carry what God placed inside you. So when that resistance comes, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start saying, what is this trying to tell me? What's about to be born through this battle? Because every breakthrough is preceded by a breakdown of some sort. Something has to fall apart before something greater can come together. You can't pray for elevation and not expect opposition. You can't ask for next level blessings and not be willing to face next level warfare. That pressure you're feeling, it's not punishment. It's preparation. It's a signpost that the blessing is not far off. So don't be moved by what's coming against you. Be moved by what's about to break forth through you. I know it hurts. I know the pressure is real. I know the weight can feel unbearable. But you've come too far to stop now. You've survived things you thought would destroy you. And that same God who brought you through all that before, He didn't bring you this far to leave you here. The pressure is temporary, but the promise is eternal. You just hold your ground. Stay in position. Keep your faith anchored. Keep praising. Keep trusting. Keep believing even when it looks like nothing's working, because sometimes the pressure is the loudest sign that heaven is leaning in. And when heaven leans in, nothing on earth can stop what's coming. When the pressure shows up, that's when you square your shoulders, lift your head, and say, I must be getting close. Have you ever noticed that right before things start to shift in your life, right before the breakthrough, right before the opportunity you've been waiting for, everything seems to go wrong. Doors start slamming shut. People you counted on stop showing up. Money dries up. Energy drains. You wake up and wonder, God, why now? But listen to me, carefully cast before the blessing is not coincidence. It's confirmation. See, when something big is about to happen in your life, all hell seems to break loose. Everything that can shake will shake, will shake. You'll feel pressure coming from every direction. Emotionally, mentally, physically. You'll question your progress, your purpose, sometimes even your worth. But I want you to understand that pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. Is God allowing everything in your life that's not rooted in Him to be exposed? Because what He's about to release in your life, it can't rest on unstable ground. Before elevation, there is agitation. Before destiny is revealed, distractions will rise. It's the spiritual tension of transition. You're leaving where you were, but you haven't quite arrived where you're going. And that space in between, that's where the enemy tries to wear you out. That's where fear starts whispering. You're not ready. You're not worthy. You're going to fail. But hear me, you are right on schedule. When you're getting close to your breakthrough, resistance intensifies. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign to press. That's when your faith has to speak louder than your frustration. That's when you have to remind yourself that God didn't bring you this far just to leave you. And though you might be in the dark right now, something is shifting in the unseen. Heaven is aligning things in your favor. It just hasn't hit the surface yet. Think about a seed. When you plant it in the soil, it disappears, it's buried. It gets no applause, no spotlight. But underground, it's breaking, it's stretching, it's being pulled and pushed and pressed in the dark. And just when it looks like nothing is happening, it sprouts. Growth is messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And you can't skip the breaking if you want the blessing. When chaos shows up at your door, don't panic. Don't think you missed God's plan. Often it's proof that you're walking right in it. The enemy doesn't fight people who aren't a threat. If your life is being shaken, it's because what you're carrying is valuable. You're being attacked not because you're weak, but because your next move is powerful. And you can't let the warfare make you forget the promise. Sometimes the shaking is also God's way of shaking you free from old habits, old mindsets, old comfort zones that are no longer serving your purpose. He'll allow situations to get so uncomfortable, you're forced to move. He'll close doors you would have never had the courage to walk away from on your own. And it might feel like you're losing everything, but you're really just shedding what was never meant to stay. He's not destroying you. He's developing you. If you're in that storm right now, if it feels like life is crashing down around you, I want to encourage you, don't run from it. Don't retreat. You were built for this. There is more strength in you than you know. And if you keep standing, keep showing up, keep praying, keep praising, eventually you'll see why it had to happen like this. You'll understand that the pressure wasn't there to break you, it was there to birth something greater in you. Breakthrough never shows up quietly. It announces itself with pressure. It comes wrapped in inconvenience. It disrupts your routine. It tests your patience. But if you can hold on even when everything in you wants to let go, you will experience what you've been praying for. It might not come how you expected. It might not look like what you envisioned, but it will be exactly what you need. So don't mistake the storm for failure. Don't let the chaos convince you you're off track. Sometimes it's just the sound of chains breaking. Sometimes it's the noise of your past being stripped away to make room for your future. The turbulence is just a sign you're ascending, and what's waiting on the other side of this chaos will make every tear, every sleepless night, every lonely moment absolutely worth it. Stand firm in the shaking. Trust God in the tension, because your breakthrough is not just on the way, it's already in motion. One of the clearest signs that God is about to bless you is that you start losing people who were never meant to go with you into your next season. I know it hurts. I know it's confusing. People you thought would be in your life forever suddenly become distant, unavailable, or even walk away completely. And it leaves you wondering, what did I do wrong? But sometimes it's not about what you did, it's about what God is doing. Because not everyone can handle the version of you that's rising. Not everyone is equipped to walk with you through the doors God is about to open. There are seasons in life where God prunes relationships not because He's trying to isolate you, but because He's protecting you. He knows that where you're going, the weight of certain connections will only slow you down. You see, some people are tied to your past, not your future. They were assigned to a chapter that's already been written. And if you're not careful, you'll try to drag them a page that was never theirs to be on. And when you do that, it creates tension, it creates frustration. Not because they're bad people, but because their purpose in your story has already been fulfilled. Let's be real, there are people in your life right now that God has been nudging you to release. But you've been holding on out of comfort, history, or even guilt. You keep saying, we've been through too much together, or they were there for me when no one else was. And that might all be true. But just because someone was part of your journey doesn't mean they're meant to be part of your destination. Some people were scaffolding there to support you while you were under construction. But once the structure is complete, the scaffolding has to come down. And here's the thing, when God begins to separate you from certain people, it doesn't always look spiritual. Sometimes it just looks like drifting apart. Conversations become dry. The connection doesn't hit the same. They stop showing up. And you start to wonder if something's wrong with you. But hear me, nothing is wrong with you. You're evolving. Your spirit is elevating. And when you grow, not everyone grows with you. Some people are only familiar with the version of you that tolerated dysfunction, dimmed your light, or settled for less. So when you start walking in clarity, in confidence, and calling it disrupts the dynamic. And instead of celebrating your growth, they retreat from it. That's why you have to be discerning in this season. Because not every loss is a setback. Some losses are actually deliverance. God is answering prayers you didn't even know how to pray. He's removing people from your life before their presence can delay your progress. And yes, it may feel like rejection, but it's actually redirection. God is clearing space for the new connections, the right relationships, the ones that won't be intimidated by your purpose, but will help propel it forward. Now, don't get bitter. Don't get stuck in resentment. Don't waste your energy chasing what God is trying to release you from. Trust the pruning. Trust the process, because when God removes, He always replaces with better, with aligned, with purpose-driven. But you won't see the new if you keep clinging to the old. You've got to free your hands so you can receive what's next. You may have walked with them in the last season, but that doesn't mean they get a seat at your next table. And that's okay. Let them go in love. Release them with gratitude. Honor what they were to you, but don't mourn their exit more than you celebrate your growth. Because this next blessing, it requires space. And God will not force what's divine into a crowded room. So if people are falling away, if relationships are ending without warning, if God is pulling you into a season of quiet, don't panic. Don't fight it. That silence is sacred. That solitude is sacred. It's where God prepares you. It's where He sharpens your discernment, renews your mind, and aligns your heart. And when the blessing comes, you'll understand why everyone couldn't come with you. Release the weight. Embrace the shift. The blessing has your name on it, but not everyone can handle what's coming with IT. About to bless you, one of the most undeniable signs is the stirring inside your spirit. It's a restlessness you can't explain. You start to feel uncomfortable in places that once felt like home. The routine that used to satisfy you now feels heavy. The conversations you once enjoyed seem shallow. You wake up in the middle of the night with ideas, visions, or even just a quiet pull in your soul that says, there's more. And you can't ignore it no matter how much you try to settle back into old rhythms. That inner shift is not a coincidence. It's not anxiety. It's not boredom. It's God calling you higher. It's the evidence that something is changing in the spiritual realm before it ever manifests in the physical. See, God moves in the unseen before it ever shows up in the seen. And before the blessing touches your hands, it first begins to stretch your heart, shift your perspective, and awaken your spirit. You start to question things you never questioned before. You begin to dream differently. You start desiring deeper relationships, bolder steps, greater purpose. And it's not because you're being ungrateful, it's because your current season can no longer contain what God is doing inside of you. You've outgrown it. And like a seed breaking through the soil, the discomfort is part of your emergence. But here's what makes it tough. You can't always articulate what's happening. You might try to explain it to friends or family, and they look at you like you're speaking another language. They don't feel what you feel. They don't hear what you hear. And that's okay, because the calling on your life was given to you, not them. Don't expect everyone to understand the blueprint when God gave it specifically to you. This is a season where you've got to learn how to listen to that still, small voice within. That whisper that says, keep going, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. That nudge that keeps pushing you to prepare, to pray, to plan, even though nothing looks different on the outside. Because that's how faith works. Faith sees the invisible, believes the impossible, and moves when logic says stand still. That inner restlessness, that divine discontent. It's God's way of letting you know that your current comfort is no longer your future home. And the reason it's getting tighter is because elevation is on the horizon, or other. You're being called into alignment. You're being positioned for impact. You're being stripped of distraction so that you can finally focus on what matters. But let me tell you something that's not always exciting. Growth rarely feels glamorous. In fact, it often feels like grief. You'll grieve who you used to be. You'll grieve the version of life you had grown familiar with. You'll grieve relationships that can't evolve with your purpose. But in that grief, God is birthing new grace, a new rhythm, a new capacity. He's enlarging your territory, but He's also refining your character. You'll start noticing doors closing, not because you failed, but because they're beneath your next level. You'll lose the appetite for small talk, for surface level living, for anything that doesn't fuel your spirit. You'll crave more meaning, more depth, more truth. That's the preparation. That's the evidence. That's how you know God is up to something. So stop trying to silence that stirring. Don't shrink it. Don't suppress it. Embrace it. Let it guide you. Let it stretch you. Let it teach you how to walk by faith and not by sight. Because the people who see the biggest breakthroughs are not the ones who waited until everything made sense. They're the ones who moved when the only confirmation they had was a fire in their soul that wouldn't let them quit. If you're feeling that inner shift, don't be afraid. It's the Holy Spirit preparing you for a new dimension of life. Your time is coming. Your blessing is near. You're not losing your mind. You're getting in position. And when that blessing breaks through, you'll look back and realize that the stirring was never to torment you. It was to transform you. It was to awaken you to the greatness that's always been inside of you. You just needed a divine push to unlock it. Honor the stirring. Trust the shift. And get ready, because what's coming will not only answer your prayers, it will exceed them. When God is about to bless you, one of the most telling signs is the sudden weight of resistance that comes out of nowhere. I'm talking about situations that test your patience, unexpected delays, attacks that feel personal, and battles that come from people you never thought would turn against you. The heat gets turned up and everything feels like it's pressing down on you all at once. But this isn't just life getting hard, it's spiritual pressure rising, not to break you, but to birth something in you. Right before the breakthrough, right before the blessing, the opposition intensifies. The enemy doesn't waste his energy fighting something that's not a threat. If you're facing increased pressure, it's because you're carrying something powerful. You're walking towards something significant. The closer you to what God has for you, the more the enemy tries to distract you, discourage you, or derail you. That resistance. It's confirmation. It's evidence that something is about to shift in your favor, and the enemy knows it. You might be wondering, if God is about to bless me, why does it feel like everything is falling apart? Because pressure precedes power. The struggle is a sign that you're being assigned for something greater. When you're about to give birth to something divine, the contractions don't come softly, they come suddenly, intensely, and with force. And many people miss their moment because they misinterpret the pressure as punishment, when in reality it's preparation. See, you've got to understand that the blessing doesn't show up in silence. It often comes with noise, chaos, and conflict. That's how you know it's close. Your emotions may be all over the place. People may start turning their backs on you. Doors may start closing. But don't let that discourage you. Those aren't signs that God forgot about you. They're signs that God is making room for what He's about to do through you. The resistance is not always external either. Sometimes the greatest battle is internal. Doubt starts whispering louder than your faith. Fear creeps in and tells you to quit. Insecurities you thought were long gone rise back to the surface. All of this is a test not to see how strong you are, but to remind you where your strength truly comes from. It's not by your might, it's not by your power. It's by His Spirit. When you're under pressure, you have to hold on to the promise. Don't let the presence of pain make you forget the presence of purpose. God never said it would be easy. He said it would be worth it. So lean into that pressure. Don't run from it. Let it refine you. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it push you into deeper prayer, deeper faith, deeper trust. Every great blessing is preceded by a great battle. And the enemy will always try to convince you to walk away right when you're on the edge of a miracle. Don't fall for it. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep showing up even when it's hard. Keep praising even when it doesn't make sense. That's what faith looks like. That's what breakthrough demands. This is a part of the process where you have to silence the noise and get anchored in truth. You have to remind yourself of who you are and whose you are. You were built for this. You were chosen for this. And if God allowed the pressure, it's only because He's already prepared you to carry the blessing. So if the battle has intensified, don't panic praise. If the resistance has gotten stronger, don't retreat stand. Because God is not just preparing the blessing for you, He's preparing you for the blessing. And when it shows up, you'll realize that everything you endured, everything you survived, every tear you cried, it all had purpose. It all made you stronger. It all shaped your character so you could steward the very thing you prayed for. Your blessing is coming. Don't quit before it arrives.